Welcome, delicious human. Welcome to episode 23, titled Whoa, So Cringe. So, yesterday I did the due diligence of reviewing, because I am my biggest fan, reviewing the video which I posted yesterday, 22, titled Affirm to Confirm. And it was so fascinating and so interesting that probably 16 minutes in, I felt so embarrassed and so cringed out. I literally felt like I wanted to delete the video. I questioned if I should continue doing this. And there was quite a lot of negative chatter that was starting to formulate within my headspace. It was quite interesting. And hey, here I am on episode 23, day 23 of doing these daily vlogs consecutively. And in the spirit of keeping it real and as authentic as I possibly can, I thought, well, hey, fuck it. Let's just make an episode about how fucking cringe it felt. And it just made me think about so many things, so many aspects and elements. And I try to show up for these videos on a daily basis, being as authentic and real as I think I'm being. But when I review the videos, especially yesterday's video, I see so many aspects and elements of myself that aren't really authentic, or that I'm not very happy with, or that I feel a little bit like embarrassed about, which I feel is quite interesting. And if you have been following me on this journey to date, you'll definitely know how I speak and preach about the importance of embracing both the dark and the light, the shadow and, the dark and the white, the shadow, the yin and the yang, that whole aspect and element. And yesterday was one of those shadowy days for me. And I woke up this morning with a little bit more of a different perspective. There were different messages that were also finding me during the course of today, almost just reaffirming and providing me with a little bit of guided support in the essence and the aspect that we are all newbies or noobs when we begin something. And this is very much in its infancy stage. And I'm still getting comfortable with seeing myself on a camera and engaging and interacting. And I've been learning on this process as well, the whole aspect of bettering the communication style, the whole aspect of bettering the way I speak, the way I oscillate or enunciate, all those aspects and elements. So it's definitely been a learning process for me. The usage of the word has definitely been on a gradual decline, I believe, in relation or in comparison to where I started in the first couple of episodes. So as hard as I was on myself yesterday, I have also taken some time to look at what wasn't working and being very honest and upfront with myself about it. And also focusing on what was working, which we often just negate or forget about or bypass because we're so focused on all the elements and aspects that aren't working. So in the spirit of yesterday's episode, which was all about affirm to confirm, I really had to be mindful of the chatter that was starting to circumvent or disrupt or negate some of the affirmations that I've been practicing over the past couple of months. So it was a real live embodied experience. And I just thought it was worthwhile creating an episode that was literally titled Whoa, So Cringe, and just sharing my personal experience. And for anyone who gives a shit or anyone who's interested, maybe it would also resonate with them, and perhaps they're experiencing something similar in their world and in their life It doesn't necessarily have to be posting on YouTube. It can be something completely unrelated, but has a similar theme and essence around it. And I guess I would also like to share this aspect and this element of how we grow up in a society that's very unforgiving of trying new things. I'm just thinking about that in relation to myself and the experiences I've had. In fact, if you're not getting it right immediately, you're kind of shunned and deemed to be incompetent. And I've seen this play out in so many spheres and aspects of my life. I am a huge experimenter. In fact, according to my human design chart and according to the stars and the astrology of the heavens, I've been gifted as an experimenter. So I learn through just doing. I don't learn through theory. I learn by trying things out for myself and formulating my own opinion and formulating and generating my own experience. That's how I accumulate the information and the data. So it's been really interesting for me. There's been many aspects and elements of my life where I've done things where I have not received approval or recognition. My homeschooling journey with our boys was definitely not accepted very well. Many names were called, many challenges were given. And even as we continue on this journey, it's been very interesting just to trust your gut, stay present in the moment, and just trust in the innate knowingness of what you're being intuitively guided to do. Similar experience when I stopped my wonderful practice that I had, which my business was doing so well in, and decided to know I'd rather just try my hand at becoming a homeschooling mom and just see where life actually naturally guides me, which is now here in not only doing these daily vlogs as I foster and learn about myself and become more comfortable with all these personalities that I seem to have, but also my embodiment practice and the realization of how important it is for me to be present in my physical body through breath work and through movement and through dance. And someone looking out in would be like, oh, that's just like a hobby. That's just a sidekick. And perhaps it is for some, but for me, it's really become a fundamental part of my beingness and my life and who I am or who I wish to be and experience at this particular phase in my life. And I just want to touch on that aspect and element, which I mentioned just a few minutes ago, about how, I'm coming to realize, as this is now episode 23, that I appear to show up with different personalities. And I was reflecting on, is that like authentic? Some days I show up one way, some days I show up more prim and proper, some days I show up more rough and rugged. But I've been digesting this aspect of, well, what is true authenticity? And I came to realize that just because I depict myself in different ways or present myself perhaps in different tones or appearances, just like I guess you would have filters, I trust that the embodiment of my messages and who I am at the core of my being comes through. Confirmation from the ducks. And I hope that I am relaying that, and I guess that's what's really important for me. If I can use an analogy, I guess, it's like we all like different types of genres of music. We might like pop and rock. We might like heavy metal and classic. And I feel like we are no different. We have these different themes. We have, be it some days we're running on a drama, some day we're running on a comedy, some day life's like a horror. I feel that life is exactly the same. And this video is actually a video for myself. As I've said right in the beginning, this is a project that I wanted to embark on for me and only me. And whoever wants to join on the journey is, of course, welcome to do so. And I trust that insights and learnings are revealed within their own life, and it sparks some form of contemplation or provocative inquiry within their own selves and within their own worlds. But yes, this is definitely a project that I embarked on only for myself, for my own growth, my own progress, my own willingness to get really comfortable with who I am seeing on the screen right now, reflecting back at me, observing my words, observing my tone, my body language, and all the things that come with getting to know yourself a little bit better. So this episode today is just a little love note also. Despite it being whoa, oh so cringe, I just want to remind myself to just keep going and just keep showing up and I guess embrace the motherfucking cringe. And yeah, just be a little bit more gentle and perhaps less critical. Look at oneself with humor and play, curiosity and inquiry, rather than fear, doubt, guilt, demise, negativity, because that's pretty easy, right? It's pretty much in most places. So yes, I guess this is a letter to me, or a vlog specifically for my remembrance that just stick it up, stick it out. I'm just looking at the timer on my clock as I look up. 11:44, like the angels are speaking to me right now in my serendipitous moment. And yeah, just I guess let's see where the unfolding takes us, shall we? And I invite you to sow those seeds in your own life and in your own world. And if this is your first time viewing this and you're still here, welcome. I hope and trust that I've broken your virginity fairly easily. And if you are coming back, as always, halala, I trust that today's message has encouraged, inspired, ignited something. And remember that we're all beginners and we all need to start somewhere. And let's just have a little bit more fun on this initial part of the journey and the process, and a little less critical, and let's park and bury the condemnation, shall we? And perhaps invite the curiosity and the remembrance of exploration and play and beingness within the essence that wants to arrive in the here and the now. So on that note, I'd like to bid you farewell. Thank you for popping in for this episode. Until tomorrow's episode, remember to keep sowing those seeds, allowing for the flow of life to find you so that you can continue to grow and ultimately illuminate your unique essence, shade of magic, and glow. Peace out. See you tomorrow.